once again, the continuation of the series of presentation on the e-manual of Epsilon software solution. We want to discuss general maintenance today. Looking at my screen, general maintenance is that part of the system where we do definition of most of those things that will run the systems. If I click on the option create, you can see there from general ledger to product to supplier to manufacturer maintenance to sales code, expense code, group code, system calendar, global administration, and sales outlet. For specific presentation today, I'm going to dwell on group code, expense code, supplier maintenance, and general ledger, because they are interrelated. One depends on the other. So if I take group code, this is the first one that is independent of the other person. Here is where we do definition of groupings of items that we deal with in the enterprise. When I say items, I'm talking of either sales or stock or production. Look at them for the purpose of accounting entries and also for the purpose of presentation. We can group all our expenses together under one bullet, and then our account number is nominated for that group. Likewise, all our products can also be grouped together. So, for example, I want to take a particular definition here, given a code and a group, and then I will tell you where we use the grouping. Now, I'm defining a group called, this specifically has to do with items that has to do with power in the enterprise. So I will call it power group. Let me call it group. Or let me just call it power. Call it power. And my definition, the description of this code is that all electricity generation, all electricity generation group. Everything that has to do with generation of electricity, I call them power as a group. This has been created successfully. Now, how do I use this? Now, this is expense code definition. This is where we do definition of various expenses that we have in the enterprise. I will take a specific example now that will make use of that group code. Here, I'm going to talk about diesel expenses, or petrol expenses, or electricity bill. All of them fall under power generation, and I want to use that group I've created for them. So specifically now, I will say, let's say cost of diesel. Cost of PMS. Now we'll call this one the full cost of the petroleum motor spirit or generator. Power generator. Now, here, we'll select the group code now. The group I just defined is called power. So I'll search for power. This is it. Then this expenses, how do you generate this expense? Manual or automatic? Manual, because we buy. Then frequency, how often? We will not know because we don't know how regular power supply from the electric distribution company is. So we can call it irregular. These are the options here. D, daily, W for weekly. We also have int down here. D for daily, W for weekly, fortnightly, and that's why they're written here. So I'll say irregular, I, because we don't know how regular we're going to be buying the petrol. So if you know, you can put daily, but these are just for purpose of divination. So I say, I've made use of that group code when I'm defining the expense code. Likewise, for any product that you're going to be using, when you define them, you also define the product code. So for example, now, if we have electricity bill that we pay, I'll also define as a product here. Or okay, don't let me, because we want to relate to expenses. So let's go back to expense code. I've mentioned cost of petrol. We can also define cost of diesel. We give it a name, cost of diesel or electricity, of electric power generation. And select the group code as well, still power, and the frequency is also irregular. What I've done here is I've been able to define two expense code, and I've been able to give the grouping that they belong to. Now, where do we use this? General ledger. In definition of general ledger, there is something called account use, which has been defined. It will come with the application. Then you can define more at implementation stage. Those are the kind of account use that we have. Asset account, liability account, interest accrual account, sales account, expense account. But also hospitality business, some of these are not relevant. The relevant one here can only be things like expense, stock, suspense, raw material, vendor, and so on. So for this purpose, I want to define for expense account. So I'll select expense account. The expense account here is 4. And then which group of expense? Remember, we have defined all product groups. So I'm going to choose power. So these are expense on electricity, all electricity generation. So which product now am I defining this for? Specific product. Specific product under electricity. Okay. We said cost of diesel. Then account number. Whatever you enter here is with account number. But there is an account here called account L you cannot change, where all power expenses are recorded under our general ledger, or called enterprise account. So let me just give something familiar, similar to that account head as account number. Can I give the name? This is electricity. Or let me do like this. Expense. Power related. Power related. Then the indicator of the account is always debit. Expense are debit in our system. Okay, when we get this error message, it means that number you already been taken. Enterprise account 999. Meaning duplicate value index on enterprise account ledger creation encountered. So I have to modify this number to give a non-existing number. I already have number 40 there. So for convenience, let me just take say 94. I don't know whether that number is still there. Yeah, that is completed. So an account has been generated for all power related, and advised specifically for an expense cost of diesel. Now, the other thing we need to know is supplier manufacturer maintenance, because for every supply, every stock that we take, we need to define who is our supplier. So this is where we do that. Giving a code to a supplier, what line of business is that supplier into? Food and drinks manufacturer. If registration number of the company, the country where it is incorporated, the worth of the company. What's the worth of the company? It's a relevant information that we have. Then the name of the MD of that company, as at the time they are doing business with us, at the time we do the definition. Title of the MD, short name of the company. Name of the company. If the company has offshore address, that's what it's meant for. I jumped that. If you have offshore address, put the offshore address. If you have offshore address, put only the local address. Address line, continue to put address line, country where it is, the region, the state, the local government. Then we can just save. That is all about the brief introduction on maintenance that we intend to present today. Thank you very much for listening.